at Cronkite News, we have a reporter with the boots on the ground at the Big 12 Media Day, talking all things Arizona football coming up next.
Plus, Argentina had one of the most epic comebacks in World Cup history on Tuesday. How they did it and the reaction from the fans coming up.
And with the 2028 Olympics closely approaching, learn how the World Cup prepared LA for an increase in tourism. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Tanner Buck.
And I'm Ryan Orsini. Thank you for tuning in.
Yesterday we brought you coverage on ASU football from the Big 12 Media Day. Well, today, U of A gets a turn to talk. Let's check in with our Jacob Brooks out in Frisco to see where the Wildcats stand heading into the 2026 football season.
Yeah, guys, the Wildcats got off to a strong start here in Frisco as they were presented with the Big 12 Commissioner's Cup yesterday, which is given to one Big 12 team that demonstrated excellence both on and off the field across all of its varsity sports. Now, in terms of football, Arizona's already hot on the campaign trail for senior quarterback Noah Fifita, handing out these Fifita for Heisman flyers here at Media Day today. And although Fifita's hearing all the hype and the noise, he says it's not about him, it's still all about the team.
It's not about a Heisman campaign. This is about a Big 12 championship. This is about a Rose Bowl, and like I said, I think we have the people to go do it.
Fifita's impact goes beyond the field as his character is carving a lasting legacy in Tucson.
Noah Fifita is the best story in college football. He's an incredibly good football player, but he's also this rare human being that chooses the right things every day.
You know, he's a great person to be around. You know, him and his family, they treat you like their family. And Noah treats you like his brother, like genuinely. You know, I feel like, you know, our relationship is super strong. That's my guy. That'll be my guy for life.
That character and mindset have become contagious as Arizona looks to become known as more than just a basketball school.
We've been labeled as a basketball school for as long as I can remember, so we want to give them a good football team. We want to give them something to cheer about. We want to give them something to come to the stadiums for, but we got to go prove that we're worthy.
You know, we have all this respect in the world for our basketball team. You know, they've been great for many years. But yeah, at the end of the day, we want, you know, Tucson to come out for us.
And go all in on the 2026 season.
We're moving forward together, and if you're not with us, there's the door. Bear down.
Well, it was clear today that the theme for Arizona this season is unfinished business. And with the season kicking off just over a month from now, only time will tell if the Cats can capitalize in 2026. In Frisco, Jacob Brooks, Cronkite News.
Fall camp for Arizona, Arizona State, and all the rest of the teams in the Big 12 will kick off in just a few weeks.
Some more big news for the Big 12 as the conference announced one of the biggest sponsorship agreements in college sports history. The conference has reached a multi-year agreement with Monster Energy worth around $20 million. The company will become an entitlement partner of Big 12 football, as well as men's and women's basketball. The Monster logo will appear as a patch on jerseys and all playing surfaces, as the deal is expected to pay member schools $1 million annually.
The Mercury prepare for the final meeting with the Indiana Fever tomorrow night. Things reached a boiling point after the altercation between Alyssa Thomas and guard Caitlin Clark in their back-to-back matchup 2 weeks ago. Back then, Thomas was suspended by the league for the flagrant foul and has received death threats. As for Clark, she's been out with a back injury for the last 2 weeks after that game on June 24th. Clark is available for tonight's game against the Sparks and has been ruled out for tomorrow night's matchup with the Mercury. Whether Clark plays or not, the Mercury are ready for their big matchup.
I mean, anything with their team is magnified, right? They have a huge spotlight. They bring a lot of attention, which is awesome for the sport. I think there's narratives for both ways. So, I mean, I can't really speak on how people view it. I mean, I think that's a matter of opinion. We're just going to play the way that we play and, you know, be good and better.
Tomorrow night's tip-off is set for 7 p.m. at Mortgage Matchup Center.
The Phoenix Suns are welcoming back some familiar faces, having re-signed not 1, 2, but 3 free agents. Guard Colin Gillespie, wing Jordan Goodwin, and center Mark Williams have all received multi-year extensions with Phoenix.
Going from St. Louis to the G League and back and forth, and then finally finding a home. It was neat to see because he knew how important that was.
It just shows just the hard work I put in to stay with it. I battled through a lot in my little 5 years in the league, so just having that mindset, just stay with it and just keep going every day.
The Suns outdid preseason expectations last year, and these 3 were a big reason why. A roster full of overachievers, summed up by Goodwin's much-deserved return to the Valley, While these three Suns prepare for the regular season in orange and purple, you can watch Phoenix's Summer League squad take on the Portland Trailblazers on Friday at 8 p.m.
The Arizona Cardinals are just weeks away from training camp, and players say the work they're putting in now is setting the tone for the season coming up ahead. Cronkite News reporter Zoe Lamb gives us a look at how defensive end Darius Robinson is preparing for training camp.
Thanks, guys. The Cardinals' offseason training might be over, but the work is far from it. With training camp now officially just a few weeks out, the players are preparing mentally and physically for what is expected to be a very competitive training camp later this month.
I think we're all hungry. I think from the past year or two, it just really hasn't been the results we've wanted. And everybody knows in football it starts up front with the D-line. So I think everybody understands kind of the target and what we're willing to do to reach where we want to be. Having fun is half the battle. When everybody's all tensed up and stressed about stuff, you're not playing fun, you're not playing fast, so just make sure you have that on your mind.
After an up and down start to Robinson's NFL career, he's now using this time to prepare for what could be his biggest season yet. That all begins on July 22nd. In Tempe, this is Zoe Lamb, Cronkite News.
7 of the Cardinals' practices will be open and available for all fans to attend beginning on July 24th from 4 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. Coming up next, a Chandler native is getting ready to hear his name called at the MLB draft.
Yeah, that's right, and the only question is, will he go number one?
It's done a lot for me. I think every step of the way has really grown me. Whether it's Hamilton or UCLA, I feel like those 7 years of my life are something that developed me into the man that I am today.
Swinging for the fences, coming up next on Cronkite News.
Plus, newsflash, it's hot outside, but we might be gearing up for a change in pace next week.
People have always had trouble trying to put me into a box. A professor, suit and tie is just not me. Without the ocean, I don't know what I would do. The ocean's always been there for me. As Hawaiian people, we believe that the coral is the first living being to come out of the darkness. It's the foundation of our entire lifestyle, and that's what my research is about. What we do is we take photographs of the reef over long periods of time to create models that can tell us what the planet is doing. If we go deaf to what the Earth is telling us, then we'll never be able to live in harmony. If I can get my students excited about protecting the ocean, then they're the ones who are gonna really make the difference. I hope my students realize that I'm not trying to prepare them for something in the distant future. Their time is now at Arizona State University.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
Welcome back. The Major League Baseball draft gets started this Saturday, and one player who doesn't expect to wait long to hear his name is the Valley's own Rock Chalowski, who is the latest big-time talent to come out of Arizona. Chandler's very own Rock Chalowski is slated to be one of the top picks in Saturday's MLB draft. Chalowski won 2 state titles and an Arizona Gatorade Player of the Year during his time at Hamilton High. And then in college at UCLA, the shortstop finished this past season as a finalist for the Golden Spikes Award, given to the top amateur player in the country.
It's done a lot for me. I think every step of the way has really grown me. Whether it's Hamilton or UCLA, I feel like, those 7 years of my life are, something that developed me into the man that I am today.
For Chalowski, he's following in his father Dan's footsteps, who played 8 years of professional baseball before becoming a longtime MLB scout.
It's just nice having someone who knows the game. He's here right now working, so getting to hang out with him and just talk shop has been pretty fun. But, just having a guy like in the house is, unbelievable.
For the most part, I just let him do his thing, to be honest with you. And we'll talk, if he has a crappy at-bat or something like that, we'll talk about the at-bat. And like I said, it's more up here. What are you thinking? The other stuff I leave alone. So, no, he's done a good job by himself. I want him to be his own person.
When former Hamilton head coach Mike Woods first came across Rock, he knew his game was as unique as his name.
You could tell he was a very talented young man, and I said, what's your name? And he said, Rock Chalowski. I go, that's the coolest name I've ever heard. He's just got that winner gene. He gets it. He's kind of a coach's dream in that he understands that the game's about winning. He understands those types of things, you know what I mean? And he does the things that help his team, do well. And I can't say enough good things about him.
Above the shoulders is what makes him special. He's a great player, but he's an even better person. So I think that's he's a #1 overall pick. It's not even close.
No matter when Chalowski is drafted,
I love you, bro!
The former Hamilton Husky will always be a top dog. The Chicago White Sox hold the #1 overall pick for Saturday's draft, followed by the Tampa Bay Rays and Minnesota Twins holding the next selections.
Both men's and women's singles in Wimbledon have reached the semifinals and are gearing up for a big weekend ahead. On the men's side, Jannik Sinner is the favorite to win it as he faces off against Novak Djokovic in the semis. Sinner has won 4 out of the last 5 meetings against Djokovic. On the other hand, half of the draw, British wildcard Arthur Ferry will face off against French Open champ Alexander Zverev, who beat American Taylor Fritz in the quarters. For the women, American Coco Gauff still is alive and takes on Carolina Muchova in the semis. Gauff looks to add Wimbledon onto her list of Grand Slam victories. If Gauff sets the win on Thursday, she will likely face off against Linda Noskova in the final on Saturday.
Argentina completed one of the greatest comebacks in World Cup history on Tuesday and had fans all over celebrating with tears of joy. After Egypt took a commanding 2-0 lead, the reigning World Cup champions Argentina rallied with 3 goals in 13 minutes late in the match. To pull off the improbable 3-2 victory, the comeback had fans like these in Miami going ballistic. Argentina next faces Switzerland in the semis on Saturday.
Free merchandise from the World Cup Fan Fest in Dallas is being resold at a profit on secondhand markets. Online sellers are posting items from flags to bracelets that were handed out to visitors. On sites such as Facebook Marketplace, economists say it's a classic example of capitalism, while spectators add that they hope the focus is on the experience and unity of the fans and not a profit. It seems like the only question with the weather is, how hot is it this time?
Just try and stay inside is what I like to say. To answer the question, Sophia Toro joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with our forecast.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, so right now it looks like we're sitting at 111 degrees, so nice and toasty. We're not escaping that heat, even though it's 7 p.m. As you can see for the rest of the evening, though, it is going down, but just a tad bit to 104 degrees. Now let's go into everyone's favorite part. Let's get into our highs. 114 here in the valley. Looks like the western part of the state is joining us in those triple digits. Lake Havasu feeling it the most at 117 degrees. Make sure to hit that Colorado River, put on some sunscreen, get out of this heat, okay? The southern part of the state here is in those high 90s, with the northern part, Grand Canyon, Page, and Flagstaff sitting in the triple digits and 80s and 90s. Going into our lows here in the valley at 91 degrees. The western part of the state here is sitting in those 80s, and the northern part is looking pretty good with 50s and 70s, good enough to get out and go camping. And the southern part of the state here is sitting in those low 70s, pretty good weather as well to go for a walk. Heading into our 8-day forecast tomorrow and Friday, it's going to be the hottest. Friday being the hottest at 115 degrees, going over that average. As for the rest of the week, we're closer to the average, ranging from 106 to 109. And the weekend is looking pretty decent to go for a walk in the morning because the lows is going to be in the 80s and 90s, with Sunday having a little bit of overcast, as you can see. That's all I got for you guys today from the Cronkite Weather Center. I'm Sophia Toro.
Ryan, that heat is no joke.
Unbelievable. Arizona residents look to the water to have a good time. We have some reminders.
Water's a lot of fun, but you don't get do-overs very often if something goes wrong. Like it's a make or break kind of environment.
Learn how the Arizona Game and Fish Department is trying to keep people safe on the water. Coming up next on Cronkite News.
As a teacher, you just want to reach people. You want to make a difference. You want to help them. I have an opportunity to do something I never imagined I would be able to do. Go out and build the best biology class the world has ever seen. When you go into Dreamscape Learn, you put on a set of goggles and you can go anywhere. You can be anyone and do anything. The thing about Arizona State University is they're always thinking about what's next. We can create virtual reality experiences so that you can learn by exploring in a virtual world the way that scientists explore in the real world. And kids can feel that. All these emotions are what help the brain encode information. When I see a student come out of VR, the look on their face is nothing like I've ever seen when I finish a lecture. They look so happy to be there. In that moment, you know that you've reached them.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Caroline Rowland with a look at tonight's news headlines. President Trump spoke at the NATO summit this morning following a series of overnight retaliation attacks against Iran.
When they hit, we hit 10 times harder. You know, we hit much harder than they do. Somebody asked before, do you think you'll hit them tonight? I said, we might. Yeah, we might.
Well, I think it was absolutely necessary because when you have a ceasefire, and Iran is basically violating the ceasefire. We've seen what happened yesterday with ships being attacked. I think it is totally crucial that the US forcefully reacts.
According to the U.S. Central Command, over 80 targets were hit with, quote, precision. The strikes came as a response to the targeted attacks on vessels near the Strait of Hormuz. In the NATO summit this morning, the president confirms the ceasefire is over and warns that the U.S. will, quote, probably strike again. Here in the Valley, we might be used to living in our cars, but LA may have us beat when it comes to navigating traffic. Cronkite News' Paloma Rochelle shows us how the car town is encouraging public transit for big events just like the World Cup.
Whether it is trying to get to a match at SoFi Stadium or heading to a fan zone event, getting around LA right now is a crowded affair. For World Cup tourists like Dave Newman, the metro has been surprisingly cheap.
Super easy. One line, easy. People to show you where to go when you get off. Super cheap. $3.50 return, easy.
While Valley drivers are used to paying $20 to $30 to park for a game, in LA it's a complete different story.
There's a lot of hassle trying to find parking. It's also quite costly. The prices range for parking between $65 and $100, and even on above that. Whereas you could take the shuttle from Metro here at Union Station for $1.75 to SoFi.
But Metro isn't just relying on its current tracks. The city is building forward with a new extension that just opened up. This infrastructure sprint leads up to the 2028 Olympics. Recent success with soccer fans shows the subway can win at the station, but local commuters worry about overcrowding when the tourists arrive.
Well, we're talking about a group of people that have never been to LA, have never commuted LA, and most importantly don't know LA. And I think that through the 2020 Olympics, we're going to run into some issues with just overpopulation and crowding.
If the tracks can be connected in the next 2 years, LA Metro might just help passengers out not only for their wallets, but time to get to places just like the upcoming 2028 Olympics. In Los Angeles, Paloma Rochelle, Cronkite News.
That preparation involves an expansion of LA's subway system. The new D-Line extension is part of a strategic plan as Metro officials race to ensure the city is completely movable before the 2028 games. Yup, you may have guessed it, our desert isn't getting any relief anytime soon. According to CNN, meteorologists say a heat dome is on its way to the western part of the country, bringing roasting temperatures of up to 10 to 15 degrees above normal, well into the danger zone for Arizona, who is already cruising in triple digits. Forecasters say the Midwest is likely next as the heat dome expands, but it will take a few days to be certain. Finding ways to cool down, Arizonans will grab their paddles and hit the many lakes and rivers. You don't need a license to operate a boat in Arizona, but that doesn't mean you don't need any safety tips. Our reporter Nico Lihaki attends a safety class that may help you stay safe on the water.
Boaters find relief on the water. But it's not all fun and games. Not understanding the dangers has led to dozens of injuries and deaths year after year.
Water's a lot of fun, but you don't get do-overs very often if something goes wrong. Like it's a make or break kind of environment that a lot of people aren't aware of.
And to make more people aware, the Arizona Game and Fish Department holds safety classes like the one at Biscuit Tank.
So this program is really about elevating people's awareness of risk, while at the same time lowering their risk tolerance.
The waters are used for different activities, and Hoffman teaches the importance of being aware of your surroundings.
Especially for the paddling community, being aware of other boats, that, you know, an interaction between a kayaker and a power boat is going to end poorly for the kayaker.
Your safety in the water may depend on who you go with and what you do, but what might matter more is what you wear.
Out of all the boating fatalities every year, 80% are drownings. And of that 80%, there's usually a good 85 to 90% weren't wearing life jackets.
We're from Arizona, so drowning's always a story every summer. Out here, it's as dangerous as anywhere else, so that's why we always wear a vest.
Hoffman believes these classes are important as you can't assume that other boaters know how to be safe.
Arizona does not require any kind of education to operate a power boat. Anybody you come across on the lake does not necessarily know what they're doing.
In Mesa, Nico Lihaki, Cronkite News.
Traveling up north, the city of Flagstaff has confirmed ICE is getting office space. On Tuesday, the city of Flagstaff released a statement saying ICE has secured office space. They also say the purpose of the Flagstaff sub-office is to expand enforcement efforts in the state. There's no word yet on when they will arrive or the extent of their operations. That's it for tonight's Cronkite News Report. I'm Caroline Rowland. Thank you for joining us. Now back to Tanner and Ryan at the desk.
Coming up next, an Iowa man is making a run at a world record.
Well, records are meant to be broken. He's looking to become the oldest semi-truck driver in the world. More on his decades-long trucking journey when we return.
People have always had trouble trying to put me into a box. A professor, suit and tie is just not me. Without the ocean, I don't know what I would do. You know, the ocean's always been there for me. As Hawaiian people, we believe that the coral is the first living being to come out of the darkness. It's the foundation of our entire lifestyle, and that's what my research is about. What we do is we take photographs of the reef over long periods of time to create models that can tell us what the planet is doing. If we go deaf to what the Earth is telling us, then we'll never be able to live in harmony. If I can get my students excited about protecting the ocean, then they're the ones who are gonna really make the difference. I hope my students realize that I'm not trying to prepare them for something in the distant future. Their time is now at Arizona State University.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
Finally tonight, Ryan, get this. The current world record holder for the oldest truck driver is a 92-year-old from Kansas.
Well, we aren't in Kansas anymore, Tanner. A new challenger has hopped in the driver's seat for the title. Orrin Asmus from Iowa is 93 years old, and he's been driving semi-trucks for over 70 years, visiting every state in the lower 48. Even with racking up over 5 million miles, Asmus wants to continue his career. Heading into his 94th birthday in August, his company has submitted paperwork and is awaiting further instructions to certify the world record.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Tanner Buck.
And I'm Ryan Orsini. Thank you for joining us. And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.